We're going to our 3 takeaways now. 3 takeaways brought to you by, of course, Blue Shark Vodka, local out of Wilmington, mellowed, smooth. We want to appreciate Blue Shark Vodka for supporting this podcast, this live show, our podcast, and being a part of the Inside Carolina experience. We got 3 takeaways. These are changing throughout the game. We're taking notes. Sean, your first takeaway.
I said offense wasn't ready. And that's from, I think, the top down. Again, like I alluded to earlier, we didn't have the key guys coming into this game to know how we wanted to get the ball in their hands. I mean, it was kind of like a feel your way type of game. They saw what they could do with Josh Downs, which I think they'll build on that. And wasnt, I think he'll play a key integral part in moving the offense forward as well. But tonight, I don't think they were ready. Hats off to VT, their D line. I mean, they played pretty good, and the D backs, top tier corners.
We haven't really talked much about Virginia Tech defense, but they've certainly played a factor in disrupting what UNC wanted to do from the start. Yeah. Second one you also want to talk about was the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. Your second takeaway on the line of scrimmage.
For me?
Yeah. You're the expert here,
That's
man.
what I just said. I mean, the same thing. They couldn't pass the games off. It seemed like they were surprised about what they were getting. Mm-hmm. And that played a factor in Sam, I think, being a little rattled. He didn't show a lot of
poise, or
he showed poise. He didn't show that he was rattled very much to me. But you could tell he wanted to make that big play, and he just wasn't able to because he couldn't really sit back there comfortably.
Yeah. What do you think about the UNC defensive line?
I think they didn't get it done tonight either. I mean, they also had some games that they ran, but I think our pressures really are the things that got home. It wasn't really the D-line that was making the disturbance.
And we talked early, I thought Eugene Asante stepping in for Chad Surratt, he made a couple mistakes early.
Yeah, he did.
We'd be remiss not to talk about him. I thought a couple plays just wasn't in the right position. His eyes were kind of distracted by the eye candy. Speak to Eugene Asante's performance.
Yeah, I mean, it shows why he was the starter. He has some crazy athletic ability. He's fast as a linebacker. I mean, he's only 210 pounds. Mm-hmm. But, we kind of talked about this the other day as well, like him being 210 pounds as a linebacker, and you got VT O-line. I mean, they average, 6'4"? Yeah. 320, and once they get those hands on him, he couldn't really shed the blocks like that. And, also at the beginning of the game, when VT was running all the wheel routes and the rub routes, he was kind of out of position on getting on top of those routes, and I think he was depending on Gemmel to get him in the right position a couple times.
And my final takeaway is kind of resetting expectations. It's kind of like, all right, where do you go from here? Yeah. You thought you'd be driving a bus home with parties and celebrating, and all the fans were happy.
Blue Shark Vodka.
Blue Shark Vodka, 1-0, 1-0 in the Coastal, heading into two home games against Georgia State and Virginia. You got to throw all that out.
Right.
It's now. You got to win, make sure you win, beat Georgia State, and then get back on track against Virginia. The idea of winning the Coastal and playing Clemson in the AC Championship game is kind of that's on the back burner. You're digging yourself out of a hole now. All the hype's gone. People are saying the Heisman, Sam's Heisman chances are out the window. I mean, it's pretty easy to see now unless you have some miraculous, crazy performance. But you have to start very early with a Heisman run. So everything we talked about leading up to this game, you kind of just throw it away because starting 0-1 and losing on the road when you're favored to a Virginia Tech team that many people didn't think were being that good, it's a huge loss. And I said this going into the game on podcasts and radio spots. This is a massive game for UNC. They had all the pressure, and they wilted underneath that pressure.